What's up guys, today we will be going over the new Gambit Pinnacle weapon, the Breakneck, which has a lot of stuff going on. So let's look at the perks. Precision Frame, then it also has Extended Mag, Rampage, kills with this weapon temporarily grant increased damage stacks ×3. Then Onslaught, the weapon's rate of fire increases as you stack Rampage, which is a new perk to the game. Then it also comes fully masterworked with range. Then I also have a minor spec mod on it. You can also put on backup mag, or in Black Armory there's going to be a rampage spec, so maybe that will be the best option then, but we don't have that yet. Then also here is my shader if you want to see that. So in this video we're going to break down if the gun is good and if it's worth grinding to get this weapon. Spoiler alert, yes. So let's go ahead and begin. So as you start to use this weapon, you'll kind of notice it feels a lot like a Huckleberry. As you hold down the trigger and get kills, you get more damage, then you also shoot faster and faster. And it's pretty similar to Huckleberry, but in an auto rifle form with more range. The thing straight up shreds low tier ads. Like, it does the damage of a 450 RPM auto rifle with Rampage, but shooting at the speed of like a submachine gun. So let's begin talking about the perks first. The Rampage and damage of this gun. So without Rampage at all, I hit 383. Then with ×1, I now hit 459. Now with ×2, I now hit 541, and with ×3, 635. So putting those numbers up on the screen real quick, as you can see, ×1 is 20%, ×2 is 41%, and ×3 is a 65.8% increase of damage on this weapon. So normal Rampage stacks. So let's talk about the rate of fire of this gun. Shooting 10 shots with all the stacks, the first one took 1.183 seconds. Now with Rampage ×1, see how long it takes now. It now takes 0.892 seconds to shoot 10 shots, and now with Rampage ×2, it will take actually the same amount of time, 0.892, so ×1 and ×2 is the same. Now let's test ×3. Get 3 kills real quick. And shoot 10 shots again. And now it takes 0.738 seconds. So if you break down the rate of fire of this gun, with ×1 you shoot 25% faster, with ×2 you still shoot 25% faster, then with ×3 you shoot 37.6% faster, which means we can now calculate the damage per second of this gun. And you can go ahead and look at these numbers here, but with ×3 you're doing 8,604 damage per second in that lost sector, which is almost the same as a 100 RPM shotgun. It's absurd. It is the highest damage dealing primary in Destiny's history, I'm pretty sure. I'm not quite sure about that statement, but it's almost the same as a shotgun. It has to be. Now, to maintain that ×3 number, you have to have Rampage procced, obviously, and as you see, Rampage lasts for almost 3.5 seconds, so you have to be getting kills every 3.5 seconds to keep the Rampage stack up. If you do not get a kill within that 3.5 seconds, as you see here, the second Rampage drops off, your rate of fire goes back to base, and so does your damage. So you may think that's it for the gun to talk about. No. There's a hidden reload perk on this gun. As you see, there's nothing on any of the perks that say anything about reload speed. But this gun definitely has a hidden reload perk on it, so let's go ahead and try to find out what that is. After playing with this gun for a bit, I finally figured out that it was tied to the Rampage stack, just like the rate of fire. So as you see here, I'm going to go ahead and get 3 kills and reload, and you can tell it's much faster than it should be for an AR of this variant. So let's go ahead and break it down what's going on here. So first, the base reload speed of this weapon. Go ahead and shoot a shot, and I like to test from shot to shot. It took 2.333 seconds. Now getting ×1 Rampage and reloading again. This time it now takes 1.612 seconds, which is a little bit faster. Now with ×2, and now remember, ×2 didn't affect the rate of fire, and once again it does not affect the reload either. It's still 1.698. It was actually longer than the ×1. Now with ×3, it now takes 1.304 seconds, which is extremely fast. So breaking down those numbers, ×1 it's 31% faster, ×2 for whatever reason is slower, then ×3 is 44% faster reload, which is very, very quick. So this hidden reload perk is kind of a lot like OG Feeding Frenzy, whereas you got more kills, you reload faster, but it's definitely tied to the Rampage stack, because the second you lose Rampage, as you saw right there, it reloads like normal again. So my best guess is that at some point the Onslaught perk increased reload speed and not rate of fire, then they decided to change it at some point and either forgot to take the reload part out or left it in on purpose, because that's kind of what the gun needs and it works really well with the gun. No matter how this hidden reload perk got here, please keep it, please, because it's extremely good. It allows you to reload so fast that you're not really worried about dropping Rampage stacks in between reloads, which is obviously extremely good for weapons like this, where almost the entire gun relies on you keeping the perk active. So this Feeding Frenzy type perk is extremely nice on this gun. Real quick, I want to show off how much total ammo you can hold. It's 407, which for me is good enough. I don't want to use a reserve perk for my primary, so I'll deal with the 407. Now, if you thought this gun wasn't good enough already, which it already is good enough, you can add Lunafaction Boots or Rally Barricade to this weapon to make it auto reload for you, but then with Lunafaction Rift, with Empowering Rift, it doubles the range of the weapon. So this gun becomes a straight up machine gun with max range, and it's absurd once you get it fully spun up with times per rampage. You're doing 65% more damage, you're shooting like whatever I said percent faster. It's absurd. I just cleared that entire room in like 4 seconds. Oh, and if you get bored of Lunafaction Rift, you can just use Chromatic Fire, which gives you Firefly on precision kills on your kinetic weapon. So this weapon with Chromatic Fire on has Rampage, Onslaught, a Hidden Feeding Frenzy type perk, then also Firefly. 4 of like the best perks in the game's history, all on the same gun at the same time. Now in practice, the Chromatic Fire isn't that useful. It definitely is useful because of the Firefly, but once you're like at ×3 Rampage and you're shredding through stuff, it's kind of hard to actually precisely aim for a headshot on the final blow, so you're not be proccing the Firefly on every shot. So this gun comes from Gambit. Is it good in Gambit? Yeah. This gun shreds in Gambit. It's probably the best kinetic weapon to use in Gambit. It'll shred through all the ads, even if you get up to like the Knights and like the Majors. If you have ×3 Rampage going, it will shred them also. You gotta keep in mind, once you have Rampage ×3, you're almost doing the same amount of damage per second as a full auto 100 RPM shotgun. It's absurd. This gun is crazy. I didn't use this gun in Crucible, but I heard something about it. Now don't quote me on these numbers because I haven't tested it myself. I'm pretty sure it hits like 26 headshots normally. Then when you get Rampage ×1, it actually lowers the damage to like 24, I think they said. Then when you get Rampage ×2, it raises the damage to like 29 per headshot. So it's kind of like bugged, and I'm not sure if they did that on purpose, because if it followed the normal Rampage pattern of 10%, 20%, 30% in PvP, which is how Rampage works in PvP, and increase the rate of fire the same way it does in PvE, that would kind of probably be broken. So I can see them actually doing that on purpose, and it's probably not a bug, but it'll be interesting to see if they release some information on that, if it's a bug or not. So what's my overall opinion on this gun in PvE? Well, you read the title, you saw the thumbnail, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think it is the best primary weapon in Destiny. Not just Destiny 2, probably Destiny as a whole. This thing is straight up a legendary Huckleberry with more range. Now the Huckleberry reloaded on kill for you, but this thing has such a fast reload that that's not that big of a deal. And I always said Huckleberry was the best primary weapon in the history of the game that no one ever used because it was exotic, and this game has no place for an exotic primary. Your exotic slot is almost always taken in your heavy slot, so no one ever used Huckleberry. But since this is a legendary weapon and you can use it while still using 1000 Voices, Thunderlord, or whatever, I can't see anything being better than this. Now there's always going to be those people that love hand cannons and, you know, swear up and down about Midnight Coup, or love pulse rifles and swear up and down about Go Figure or Bygones or whatever, and that's perfectly fine. If you prefer those type of weapons, go for it. But the Breakneck shreds through ads like nothing else in the game except the Huckleberry. It's so good, I'm gonna be using it in Worlds First for the next raid. Now of course I'm gonna have like a Go Figure in my inventory just in case if I need more range, but this gun is so good that it's gonna be my probably full-time primary from now on. The rest of the video will just finish off this strike gameplay, and as you'll see, it just shreds. I got nothing else to say. Anyways, let me know what you think about the weapon if you have it. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.